Knowing how to select a financial planner is a very important decision that you have to make. And having the right financial planner is actually can be a very valuable relationship as you near and enter retirement. Not all financial advisors are created equal. We have different services that we get paid differently. We provide different value. We have different skill levels, and in this industry, there's a lot of us, and it varies greatly. Okay, but you are going to need to understand how to select one, and especially what questions to ask. And a good financial advisor has heard these questions before and should be able to answer pretty much within reason any questions that you ask. Now, again, it's your money, so it's very important that you ask important questions that are important to you so that you can distinguish between advisor. And let's understand this. If you have the right advisor, you're going to stay with this advisor for a very, very long time. You're going to share a lot of different information, a lot of personal information. He's going to share personal information about himself, and you're going to share personal information about yourself, because over time you're going to spend a lot of time together. So you want to make sure that it's somebody, again, that you feel very comfortable with. So these are probably the 6 questions that should be part of any set of questions that you ask a financial advisor. Number 1, and a very important question, is, are you a fiduciary? I've talked about the term fiduciary before, and what it means is that I, the advisor, have to put the client first, okay? Not me. The client goes first. Now, you would think that's easy, right? However, that's a regulation that I have to follow, but some of the biggest firms on Wall Street, some of the largest firms down the road, are not even allowed to be a fiduciary. They're not allowed to act as a fiduciary. They fall under a different set of regulations. So you want to make sure, again, that the advisor is working for you and directly for you. Okay. Number 2 is, how do you get paid? Listen, folks, financial advisor gets paid all the time. Okay. Financial advisors aren't doing this for free. Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard, they're not some of the largest institutions out there, and they're promoting their businesses and sponsoring teams and sponsoring schools and sponsoring events and putting their ad out there 24/7 by doing it for free. It just doesn't happen. Now, we get paid in a variety of ways, but from all intents and purposes, it's commissions, a fee for service, or a percentage of service, depending on your assets, or an hourly wage, okay? Or maybe even a combination. But at the end of the day, we do get paid. Now, one of the things about getting paid is, don't always get too hung up about payment, because you have to understand what the advisor is doing. If the advisor is just pretty much managing your investments and not doing anything else, okay, you can't talk to them, you can call them on the phone, no tax questions, no Social Security questions, nothing else, then his fee should be extremely low. But if the advisor is more comprehensive in nature, obviously his fee should be a little higher. So understanding fees and how the advisor is being paid is important. But again, don't get caught up over fees, because a lot of value sometimes is in there. But you have to distinguish, again, what the advisor is doing for that fee. Okay? Number 3 is, are you listening to me? Not you listening to me. I mean, you have to feel that the advisor is listening to you. What are your goals, your objectives, your desires? What do you want to do? And how do you want to get there? And you have to make sure that that advisor is helping you with the process and how to get from A to B, okay? And feel that he's understanding you. He or she is actually understanding you and can help you along the way, and have a confident level with that. Number 4 is, are you a certified financial planner? Certified financial planner, for just being simple, is like saying in our industry you're board certified to do financial planning. Okay, you've put you got a higher level of education, more rigorous training, even annual training and education, as well as training to get your CFP, as well as testing to get your CFP. Okay, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not easy at the end of the day, but it's rigorous. So there's a lot of designations out there, but a lot of them are worthless. A lot of them you just basically cut a check and you have it. Now they've gotten rid of a lot. The regulation has gotten rid of a lot of these designations, but still, I believe that if you're going to take the extra step of having a financial planner, just see if he's a CFP. Get online, go to the CFP website and find a CFP in your area. But I think that being a CFP just shows that you're taking an extra level of care to work with your clients. Number 5, do you provide comprehensive planning? Okay, and this is important because there's a big difference between a true planner and selling you something. Okay, you've heard that story of the hammer. If you had a hammer, then everything is a nail. All right. So buying stuff from a financial planner that basically has provided no plan and doesn't know anything about you, it's akin to just hitting everything being a nail and hitting it with a hammer. Okay. So it's like going to the doctor and him operating on you without even doing an exam. It's idiotic. So we know that you shouldn't just be going to a planner to buy something. Now, there's a lot of advisors out there, planners out there that just want to sell you something, but just understand that if you really want to be done right, you have to have a plan to go along with it. 6th, and definitely not least, especially as you approach retirement, is, do you know anything about retirement? Does your planner know anything about retirement? Let's face it. There's two sides of the fence. There's the accumulation stage and there's the distribution stage. The accumulation stage is pretty easy. You're just putting money away, okay? Whatever it ends up down the road is whatever it ends up. The distribution stage, you got to take all that money and you got to start taking it out, and you got to make sure the secret that you don't run out of money. So the rules that apply here are turned 180 over here. They don't apply here. Even though advisors all over the country want to tell you that they do, they don't. But this is how a financial advisor usually works when it comes to retirement planning. Mr. and Mrs. Jones, you've done a great job of accumulating $500,000 in your IRAs and 401ks. However, I noticed that last year you made 7%. You see, if you would have been with me, you would have made 8%. So if you just sign these applications and roll over this money into our IRA, we'll make sure that you're able to stay retired. Nothing can be farther from the truth, okay? But that is how a lot of financial planners plan. Hey, you made X, guess what? If you're with me, you can make X plus 1. That's unrealistic. It's never going to happen, okay? So when you go into retirement, welcome to the land of distribution, where the rules are different. I've studied retirement. I've studied the math and science about retirement. I'm here to tell you this. You have to focus on 2 things when you're in retirement. Number 1, your guaranteed income. Where is it coming from and how reliable is it? And number 2, have you planned all the key risks off the table? Okay, have you planned to take those off the table? Those 2 things, okay, has very little to do with investments per se. You got to work on those 2 things. And when we're talking about proper planning for retirement, we're talking about how do you planning for your Social Security, your pension? How are you structuring your investments for that reliable income? How's your market exposure? Taxes on your IRA and 401k. Very important to understand. We want to minimize those. Also, long-term care planning, estate planning, and a host of other things that are there to basically derail your retirement. And that's what you have to concentrate on when it comes time for retirement. Not if, hey, invest in this mutual fund and you're going to soar. Okay, it has nothing to do with that. There's a host of a lot of comprehensive planning that goes along with your retirement planning. So let me clarify this. Okay, these are important questions, and there's probably a host of others more that you can find that are important to you. But ask the questions, and the right advisor will answer each and every one of those questions. With that being said, I'll see you next time on Financial QB TV.